Welcome to today's cooking class. I'm in my mom's kitchen.
Hi.
And here she wants to join me today to cook one of our favorite dishes. And this comes to our heart because it's the secret recipe from my grandma, my mother's mom. We call it pollo en Pepitoria grandma's style. And that's also a recipe that I included in my book. But I wanted you to join me because it looks more complicated than it is. It's really delicious. It is a way to add a lot of protein in your diet and experiment at the same time with a delicious dish. And it's basically chicken, but you can make it with any other type of meat of your choice. The sauce is the one that is gonna give the flavor to our chicken today. So I want to share with you today the secret recipe from my grandma's pollo en Pepitoria. So let's get started. Vamos a empezar, ¿no?
Okay.
So let me show you first what we are gonna use for our pollo en Pepitoria. So first, of course, we are gonna use chicken, and this chicken has been soaking for a while, and I will let you know why. But we are using mostly drumsticks, but you can use a whole chicken that is cut in pieces. You can use the whole leg of the chicken, the drumstick, and the thighs. You can make it with chicken wings, any part of the chicken of your choice. But the most important is the chicken has to be pasture raised and free range. And this chicken, we got it from a store that we have here in my town that is a polleria. We call it because they only sell chicken parts. So it's not the butcher, it's a butcher specialized in chicken and turkey. So this is what we are gonna use. We are gonna use drumstick. Then that's our main protein together with egg. So we are gonna use a couple of hard-boiled eggs, only 2 of them that we have hard-boiled previously. Then we are gonna put the chicken with a flour, and in this case we are gonna use arrowroot flour for a paleo low-carb alternative. We have here some avocado oil. You can make it with ghee as well if you want, but avocado oil is tasteless, so it's not gonna change the flavor of the meal. And the avocado oil is high smoke point. And also here in Spain, we could use, my mother is actually telling me, we could use, instead of avocado oil, virgin olive oil. Virgin olive oil, the difference with extra virgin is that it has a high acidity. I will explain a little bit more about that. And another protein, that is why I said this dish is very high in protein. Another protein that we are adding here is almonds. Almonds without the skin. If you cannot eat almonds because you're allergic to almonds, you can add macadamia nuts, for example, pine nuts. But specifically, this one has the almonds without the skin. These ones are halves, but you can use the whole almond. We are going to chop them anyway. And almonds, they have to be blanched, as I said, without the skin, and they have to be organic. No need for roasted. They can be raw because we are gonna roast them ourselves. Then you can use water, or we are gonna use, in this case, chicken broth that we made the other day with also pasture-raised chicken. And then spices. I always, and this is a variation from my grandma's style chicken, I'm gonna add turmeric. Turmeric is not in that recipe, but I always like to add my favorite roots for an anti-inflammatory approach, which is ginger and turmeric powder. And of course, every time that we add turmeric, we add black pepper to increase the absorption in the body. We are gonna add 1 or 2 bay leaves, which is also very common when we cook here in Spain. And of course, the key of this recipe, which we use it a lot, if you don't have it, it's okay to make it without it, but it adds an extra taste and a lot of properties, is saffron. Saffron is very common here in Spain. It's also possible to find in United States. It's a very rich, powerful antioxidant booster, immune booster. So we are gonna add a little bit of saffron. This is also a very typical Mediterranean spice. And actually, we are adding vinegar, raw apple cider vinegar with the mother organic, because in Spain we cook a lot with wine, white wine, and the substitute for wine on an anti-inflammatory diet when you are cooking is raw apple cider vinegar. I think I didn't miss anything, but I'm gonna show now slowly each of the steps. You will see how simple and how delicious it is. Let's get started. We have been doing for 20 minutes to 30 minutes. I was soaking the chicken in water and vinegar. Chicken is one of the meats that come with a lot of bacteria, but you can do also this with beef. I always like to clean my meats before I cook them to eliminate any type of microbes that are coming from the facilities. So I put mostly everything water, and I add a squeeze of vinegar. It doesn't have to be the vinegar with the mother. It can be the distilled vinegar and the one that you use for cleaning. And then you leave it soaking for at least 20 minutes. It's not gonna taste like vinegar. Then we are gonna strain it. So I have here our colander. And then I'm gonna rinse it a little bit. A little bit to eliminate the leftovers. And then what we have to do to cook the chicken now is we are gonna pat dry the chicken. So we are gonna take a paper towel and then we are gonna pat dry all the chicken and it's ready to cook. So with a paper towel, I just pat dry all the drumsticks. This is the last one. And we are ready. I have my chef here. It's gonna help me with the chicken for our next step. I'm gonna put the chicken here. All right, so now we are gonna use a pan, and in that pan, we are gonna heat up some oil. We are gonna use about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of the oil. So we are gonna add it in the pan. Tú me dices. Así todo. Sí, todo. And if we see that it's getting very dry, we can always add more. We are gonna put it in medium heat. So first we are putting some salt in the chicken while the oil is getting warm. So she is putting the salt in the chicken and then is rubbing the chickens in the flour to be completely covered. So we want to completely cover the chicken with the flour, as you can see. This is the arrowroot of flour. You don't want to use cornstarch or regular flour because they are not on an anti-inflammatory diet and they are very high in starch. So this is arrowroot, which is a lower alternative when we want to make thicker sauces or we want to use a flour or cornstarch type of flour. And the amount that we are using is not raising, it's not changing the macros much compared to the amount of protein that we have in the recipe. Yeah, so we are doing the same with all the chickens, some salt around, rub all the chickens, and then we will be ready to fry them. So what I wanted to talk about before is the olive oil. So actually we finally decided to use olive oil instead of avocado oil. And I know that I always say extra virgin olive oil is not for cooking because it has a very low smoke point, and it's true. But what is the difference? Here in Europe, excuse me, here in Europe, we have different type of olive oil in Spain, Greece, and Italy. So some olive oils, and this one says, are virgin. This one is extra virgin, and this is the one that usually we find in United States. The extra virgin olive oil has a very high acidity, and high acidity oils have a very low smoke point. We cannot cook with them, so we will never use this oil for cooking. However, this other oil is virgin. The smoke point is higher. It's like an avocado oil. It has a low acidity. It's not refined. It's still cold press or first press, but is virgin, not extra virgin. And this one we can use it for cooking. Every time I come to Spain, I take some olive oil with me for cooking, because for me it still is the liquid gold. So we are using this one, the virgin high smoke point olive oil that we can use for cooking. It's time to wear our apron, our Hawaiian apron here in the mountains, because it's time to fry the chicken. So we are putting the chicken in the pan. Let me take it there. Now we are frying the chicken in medium heat until it's gonna be golden brown. We are cooking around 10 drumsticks. So now the chicken is golden brown outside, not much, just a little bit. And as you can see, it's still a little bit raw inside. We don't want to cook it completely now, just a little bit golden brown outside. And then we're gonna put it in the pot. So we are gonna repeat all of these with the 10 drumsticks. But remember, you don't wanna cook it completely. You still wanna see it kind of pinkish inside, but golden brown on both sides of the chicken. While we finish cooking the chicken, I'm gonna take a few chives. You can use chives, or you can use the green part of the green onion for a low FODMAP diet. If you don't have any problems with FODMAPs, then you can use regular onion, more or less like a small onion, completely chopped. But to be sure, if you tend to get bloated and you are on a SIBO treatment and an anti-candida treatment, and you are on a low FODMAP diet, we are gonna use the chives or the green part of the green onions. So I'm gonna use more or less this, which it will be kind of like, more or less, yeah, kind of like one small onion. And I'm gonna try to chop it small, but it doesn't have to be too tiny. You can use the knife if you hate knives, like my mother. You can use the food processor, but don't cut your finger. Remember, always cut like this, so you never cut your finger. I'm gonna chop it a little bit more. I personally got used to using the chives or the green part of the green onion. I don't really miss the onion. It gives exactly the same flavor. Original recipe contains garlic, but we are making this also on a low FODMAP diet, so it's garlic free. So what is the secret now? Now that we have all our chicken in the pot, each of the other ingredients, we are gonna cook them in the pan and pass them to the pot. So still on medium heat. Now I'm gonna take the chives and then we're gonna add them medium, low. Bájale. Let's decrease it a little bit because these are vegetables, more on the low side. And whenever the chives are cooked, golden brown, then we're gonna pass them to the pot. Now that the green onions are done, you wanna seal them down, but you don't wanna burn them. We're gonna take them out. It's okay if you take some oil because we want to pass some oil in our pot. Take them from here and put everything on top of the chicken. And now what we are gonna take is the almonds. We are gonna put the almonds, increase the temperature again to medium, and we are gonna toast the almonds. This is about 10 blanched almonds, 10 to 11. And we are gonna toast them until they are also golden brown. So the almonds are already toasted. You don't wanna burn them, just a little bit toasted. And we are gonna add them not to the pot, to my favorite utensil, which is a mortar. You can use a mortar, you can use a chopper or a food processor. We want to chop the almonds. So for now, we are just gonna keep them in the mortar before we add them in there. And then the next thing that we are gonna toast is the saffron. We're gonna put it on medium low. Otherwise the saffron is gonna burn. And we are gonna use about 10 strains, not much, but it's important to put the saffron first, toasting a little bit, because otherwise it's not gonna give the enhanced flavor. This is a way to activate the saffron. So we're gonna use a little pinch, which is about 10 strains, and we're gonna put it to toast over there a little bit. I have put it on a side that there's not much oil. We just wanna toast it. We don't want it swimming over there in the oil. Just to activate it, it doesn't have to be burned. Just a little bit. I can smell already. I start getting the aroma of the saffron. And when we toast it, we are gonna put it on top of the chicken. And my mother says, okay, take it out. So I'm just gonna take it out. Don't burn yourself. This is a little bit tricky. And that's it. There's not anything else to toast in here. So we are gonna turn off the heat. Remove the pan. And we are gonna place the chicken in here. Now we are just gonna press. You can put in the food processor and make it a mess. We make them small, but you don't wanna puree. You can also add the saffron with the nuts and a little bit of the broth together and mash it together. They smell very good because they are roasted. Okay. As you can see, they are small, but not puree. So now we are gonna add them to the pot. So now what we are gonna do is we are going to separate the egg yolk from the egg white. It's okay, you break it. We are gonna break it more. We are gonna reserve the egg whites, and then with the egg yolk, we're just gonna mash it. And we are gonna do the same with the other egg yolk. We have 2 eggs. Remember that you hard boiled before. So we separate the egg yolk. This looks super good. And we are gonna reserve the egg whites for later. And now we are gonna add the broth. It's okay to add the fat. The fat is good. How much you put? This is about 2 cups, 2 to 3 cups. It depends on how saucy you like it. If you don't like a lot of sauce, you can add 2 cups. If you like more sauce, you can add 3 cups in there. And then what is gonna thicken the sauce is the arrowroot. The arrowroot that the chicken has. And now we are gonna add a little bit of the raw apple cider vinegar, like if it will be the wine, just a little bit. We are gonna add turmeric. The ginger is optional. In this case, I'm gonna add just turmeric, so it doesn't change much the flavor. So 1 teaspoon of the turmeric. Yeah, put it around. We're gonna move it down. A little bit of black pepper. You don't have to add too much. Remember that peppering from black pepper increases the bioavailability of curcumin, the active compound of the turmeric. And when we cook the turmeric, it's gonna get activated. It's gonna enhance the flavor. It's gonna taste much better. And finally, I'm gonna add 1 to 2 bay leaves. We are gonna put the lid on and we are gonna leave it cooking until the chicken is completely cooked. So we are gonna check it once in a while until it's completely cooked. So for that, I'm gonna put the heat in medium and I will show you how it look like. We have been cooking for about 10 minutes. As you can see, it's boiling. So we are gonna just flip the chickens one by one so they don't get stuck in the bottom. Like this. Ooh, they look so good. If you like it less yellow, just add a little bit less turmeric. Turmeric is up to taste. Some people like to feel the taste of the turmeric more or less. As I mentioned, the original recipe is without turmeric. We just add it for an anti-inflammatory approach. But it gives a very, very delicious flavor and a lot of good properties. So we are gonna leave it cooking a little bit more. I'm gonna remove the lid and I'm gonna leave it cooking like this so the sauce can thicken. And why it's gonna thicken? It's gonna thicken with the arrowroot from the chicken and the leftovers in the oil that we had in the pan. When the chicken is done, which depends on the size of the chicken, the drumstick took about 30 to 40 minutes to be completely done and reduce the sauce. We will turn off the chicken and here we have the egg whites. Remember we have 2 eggs. We put the egg yolk to cook together with the chicken, which is gonna thicken the sauce as well. And then here we have chopped the egg whites. So we just put them on the top at the end. Here we have our delicious high protein pollo en Pepitoria dish. I think you're gonna love it. And we are ready to eat pollo en Pepitoria. Enjoy!